Hi everyone, thank you for joining me again. My name is Samuel Okeshisi. Thank you on this journey. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. I love you guys so much, and I've missed you guys. I didn't post the video last week. Of course, it is because of the Christmas atmosphere. But now I'm back. I miss you guys so much. So before the last two videos, I talked about mammon, the spirit of the love of money. And I said the solution to that is getting the wealth from God directly, right? Instead of getting it from the devil and loving money and trying to get that money in a very manipulative and ungodly way, that God himself also provides that money. He provides provision, the things we need. Wealth is not just financially. It doesn't mean money alone. The things that we need, he provides them, and he wants to give us abundant life. So that was that. So then today, I will be talking about another way we are being restricted from pursuing that freedom that I've been talking about from the beginning. You can go back to my first video and see God's idea of freedom. It is the manifestation of the divine nature of God in every areas of our life. But it is not easy to manifest this divine nature because there are so many things, character-wise, spiritual-wise, and every other form, environmental-wise, social-wise, things that hinders us from freely manifesting this divine nature. So I've been teaching about all of those. And today I'll be talking about pride. Pride, pride. Being boastful and being prideful. It has a spirit. Sometimes the Bible calls it the spirit of pride. We all know Satan himself exhibited this at the beginning, said, I will raise my altar, my throne above that of God. I will be like a God and all of that. Satan himself is the father of pride. He is the father of pride. So he loves it when people exhibit that character of his, which is what? Pride. But pride is different from self-esteem. Pride is literally not the same as self-esteem because we don't want to be at the highest end of the spectrum, which is extreme pride, and we don't want to be at the lowest end of the spectrum, which is not even believing in yourself at all, not seeing yourself as being worthy of anything. We want to be balanced. We want to have a balanced perspective of who we are. So we have self-worth. We need to have self-esteem also. We need to have confidence in ourselves, in who God has called us to be. The Oxford Dictionary describes self-esteem as confidence in one's own worth or abilities. It also means self-respect. So you need to have self-esteem. You need to believe in who God has called you to be. You need to have confidence in the ability God has given you to achieve what he has called you to achieve. So that is healthy. God wants you to feel that way. He wants you to not to boast in yourself, but boast in his ability in you. He wants you to boast in him through his name, through his divine grace and ability that he has given to you, not boast in your own ability. Now we look at the book of Proverbs 16:18. It says, we all know that pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. So pride goes before destruction. We don't want to be destroyed. We don't want to experience this freedom we're talking about. But one thing that is on the way, one of the things that hinders that, as I said earlier, is pride. Pride goes before destruction. It also means that pride happens before destruction, before someone is destroyed. The person has exhibited a haughty spirit. A haughty spirit. Haughty means arrogantly superior. The feeling of arrogantly superior. Very disdainful. That means very annoying, irritating. Arrogantly feeling the feeling of arrogantly superior. You feel like you are the best in everything. You feel like no one is as good as you. You believe that you are the smartest and all of that. It can be very disgusting and disdainful. But this is not what God wants us to experience. But at the same time, he wants us to have self-esteem, believing in his ability, in our life. He wants us to have confidence in who he has called you to be. The devil on the other side also tries to talk you down, that you are nothing, you don't have anything, you are a fool, you are not smart. God will come sometimes and call some people, as he told Gideon. He said, "Oh, mighty warrior." Can you see? Mighty warrior. God, the angel of the Lord, was imparting and letting Gideon realize who he is in the spirit. In God, he is a mighty warrior. So sometimes God tells you who you are so that you can believe in the capability that he has given you to achieve what you are born to do. So in that context, it is not pride. I don't want us to miss it. It's not because, I don't want to be proudful. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the confidence in who God has called you to be. We want to balance it. We don't want to be at the two extremes of the spectrum. So now let's look at the signs of the spirit of pride. How do we know if we are exhibiting the spirit of pride in us? God is trying to bring light into this. He's trying to shed light into this because this might be probably what is hindering us from moving to the next level, or what is hindering the move of God. Because God sees that and is like, "Oh, I wish you could change this area of your life." The goal is not to judge. The goal is not to condemn you. God is not condemning, God has come to save you, to rescue you, to let you know that, okay, can you work on this area? And once you work on it, then I will release the grace. Don't forget, the Bible also says that he will not pour a new wine in an old wineskin. He cleans the old wine, he makes it new, then he pours the new wine into it. So all what we are doing now is cleaning up the old wine so that we can be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And how can we be transformed? By receiving revelation and knowledge from the Holy Spirit. So the signs of the spirit of pride, number one, I will say, is an unteachable behavior. I'm also analyzing myself with these signs. So it's not just about you. I am analyzing myself. I'm preaching to myself so that I can stay humble and be under the grace of God. The first one is unteachable behavior. Unteachable. Someone that has the spirit of that cannot be taught. You can't teach me. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? What do you want? What do you have to offer? I know everything. Unteachable behavior. The second one is you cannot accept not being the best in an environment. Are you at work? Are you in the family? Are you anywhere? You can't just accept when you're not the best. When you're not the best, you are angry. You are angry at the best. You are envious of the best. You just can't stand not being the best. It is healthy. Competition is good, but if it is not controlled, the devil can also use that again to start making you have a bad thought against who the best is. And if the person is best, let's say financially, he or she might not be best spiritually. We all have our areas of giftings. And just find the areas of your giftings and be better in that. Just be contented with where you are now, with the eyes on the future, by the help of the Lord. Cannot accept being the best, not being the best in an environment. The third one is you always want to be at the center of attention. You always want to be the one being praised. You always want to be the one being talked about. You can't stand it when someone else is being praised, appreciated, or getting attention. You always want to be at the center of attention. Watch it, please. That could be the spirit of pride. The fourth one, you see constructive criticism as a personal attack. Anytime somebody tries to, criticize you constructively with love, why don't you do it that way? Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you train more? Why don't you improve yourself? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do it this way? You see it as if the person is attacking you. You don't see it as if the person is trying to help so that you become better. Then you start avoiding the person. Then you start being offended at the person. You start keeping malice against the person. This can be because of the spirit of pride. You see every constructive criticism as an attack against you. The fifth one, you undermine or you are envious of others' achievements. as I said, it's kind of related to the one of not being at the center of attention. You see anybody's achievement as not good enough. You find one reason or another to undermine that person's achievement because they are not talking about you. You are not the one being praised. You undermine it. You are envious of it. Why? Because you feel like you should be the one. You should be the one. That is the spirit of pride at work. You need to check it. This is why the Lord has sent me to open the eyes of his people so that they might see how the enemy, or even ourselves, we ourselves, not even the enemy all the time, we need to check ourselves and see how we are hindering our blessings from God. Number 6, extremely hard accepting being in the wrong. It's kind of related to the first one the second one I talked about, or probably the fourth one, which is criticism. It's so hard to accept when, let's say, there's an argument between two people, and it is so hard for you to say, okay, I was wrong. It's so hard, not just even being criticized now, but just accepting that you are wrong. It's so hard. It's so hard to just accept it. Like, I can't be wrong. I have never been wrong. No, that can be the spirit of pride right there. And the 7th one, the mentality of, I got it. I can handle it on my own. I do not need help. I don't need help. I got it. There are times that we need, we have confidence in who we are, the ability God has given us. But when this becomes the usual pattern, that you don't even want to accept help at all, you want to do it all by yourself, even when you struggle at it, but the ability or the idea of even asking for help is like someone is peeling out your skin. You feel so pained just asking for help. Just asking for help. That might be the spirit of pride. So the mentality of, I got it, I can do it on my own, I don't need anybody's help, can be the spirit of pride. Number 8, you have strong belief that all your accomplishments were by your own ability. You believe that everything you have achieved is because you are smart, it's because you are hardworking, it's because you are the best, it's because you know how to do it. You believe that every of your achievement is by your own power. If you look at the book of Deuteronomy 8:16-18, God was telling them here, He gave you manna to eat in the wilderness. This is Moses talking. Something your ancestors had never known, to humble and test you so that in the end it might go well with you. 17, you may say to yourself, my power and my strength and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. 18, but remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so that He may confirm the covenant which is swore to your ancestors as it is today. 17 precisely, you may say to yourself, my power and my strength of the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. This is the spirit of pride talking here. God is warning. Moses was warning. Don't have this thinking. Don't say that everything you have achieved is by your ability, is by your power. You should realize that it is God that gave you the grace to achieve what you have achieved. And the last point, which is the 9th point, it is so difficult, extremely hard for you to yield control. You always want to be in charge. You always want to be in charge. You always want to control every situation. It is so difficult for you to not yield it. Either yield it to God or yield it to someone else. You can't delegate. It's so difficult for you to delegate. You just want to be monitoring everything. You want to monitor everything. You can't trust the people you are working with because you just want to be in charge of it. Even when you are sick, you want to get up because you don't trust others. It is the spirit of pride. It is the spirit of pride. It is so difficult for you to yield control to others or even to God. You believe that you have the capability to resolve it. You know what to do. You know everything. You can do everything. You got it. It's so difficult for you to yield control either to God or to human. Human. And these are the 9 points God has inspired me to highlight to his people so that they can work on it and be a better children of God. The first one, unteachable behavior. The second, you cannot accept not being the best in an environment. The third, always want to be at the center of attention. The fourth, sees constructive criticism as a personal attack. The fifth, you undermine or you are envious of others' achievement. The sixth, extremely hard accepting being in the wrong. The seventh, I got it. I can handle it on my own. I do not need help mentality. Eighth, you strongly believe that everything you have achieved were by your own ability. The last one, extremely hard, yielding control. I will stop here. I don't want the video to be long. Thank you for joining me again. And the next video, we will now talk about the consequences of this spirit of pride. Consequences. How does this spirit probably affect you or has affected you in the past? This is what we'll be looking at next time. I will just remind you, was there any time you said to yourself, I wish I had listened to that person? Anytime you experience, look back to your life, remind yourself, was there any time I said, I wish I had listened to that person? Why didn't you listen? Could it be the spirit of pride? We'll talk about more consequences in the next video. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of a new year. Have a wonderful 2025. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to share, like, comment, subscribe. Love you. And turn on the notification so that you can know when I upload the video. Bye for now.